out, sorry. So, my name is Bob. I am the best
Hi,
man.
Bob.
Best man. Sorry, that's the best ma'am. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody, but mainly to, where's Jim? Oh, there you are, and Suzi. So thank you guys. Honestly, I'm so honored to be a part of this event, be a part of your wedding. And I speak for myself and my wife, Diana, and my brother, Paul, for us to be able to stand up for you. Hey now. For us to be able to stand up for you guys is incredible. We love you guys so much. I've known Jim for 28 years.
Wow.
I know what you're thinking, but Bob, you look so young. I appreciate that. Keep it. I met Jim back in '89. So Jim moved from Chicago to Scottsdale back in 1989. I was 16 years old, and Jim, we got along really well just right off the bat. And Jim would come over to my house. Usually, I was still in high school. Obviously, I hadn't dropped out at that point. But I was still in high school, and Jim would show up at my house, and he would usually wake me up for my afternoon nap after high school. I'm taking a nap. Should I move? Are we good? And so I'll just take a seat with you guys. Let's relax this a bit. How you doing? All right. Freaked her out. And so, but Jim would come over to my house after I got a long, hard day of high school over with, and he would come in and he'd wake me up. But before he got to my bedroom, he would stop off in the kitchen and say hello to my mother and compliment her usually on, oh, whatever you're cooking, Sherry, it smells so good. And of course, she would invite him to stay over for dinner. And of course, Jim would agree. There were two things I actually learned about Jim early on. Jim never turned down free food, and Jim never turned down free food. It was worth repeating. But, so, it is emotional. Come on, Courtney. And so it was great actually having, Jim is like a brother to me, you know, knowing him for as long as I have. And it was always really cool to have a friend like Jim. Jim is almost 2 years older than I am. And it was pretty cool. Where's your mom, Jim? Mary, she can confirm this, but Jim came out of the womb with a mustache. It's true. No one ever knew Jim without a mustache. I saw him actually, he screwed it up a little one time and he had to take it up, but that was about, you know, literally like 8 hours later, the mustache grew back. And so, but it was cool having a friend that was a couple years older than I was. And it was cool because he could buy us beer because Jim looked he looked even older than he was. And so, you know, it was great having Jim there. And Jim, he got an apartment at one point, and it was great to have a friend who could actually buy you beer and had a place where I could crash while I was in high school before I went back to my parents' house. And so, should I move? Are we good? And so, the coolest thing I think I remember about Jim is that Jim had a mobile phone. Jim had a mobile phone, and this is like in 1990, 91 maybe. No one had everyone's wearing pagers. No one had a mobile phone. And so, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, that Jim's got a mobile phone, until I went to his apartment for the first time. And for those of you guys who are local, Jim lived at like Union Hills and Tatum, I believe. And so the first time I ever went over to his place, I saw that he actually lived right next to like an Exxon Mobil gas station. And there was a payphone in the parking lot of the mobile gas station, hence Jim's mobile phone. Jim was like, I'm calling you from my mobile phone. I'm like, bullshit, you're calling me from a payphone. But it was super cool. And at that point, I realized that Jim might be a better bullshitter than I was. And that's saying a lot right there. But so I graduated high school, and I went to Arizona State, and I decided I didn't want to live on campus. And so I called up my buddy Jim, and I said, Jim, do you want to get an apartment together? And he says, yes. And I said, great. So I don't want, Suzi, there to be like this black cloud hanging over this evening, but in the state of Arizona, if you live with somebody for longer than 2 years, it's like a common law marriage, I think they call it. So as of about an hour and a half ago, Jim is a bigamist. So we'll figure it out later. Yeah. So when you've known somebody for as long as I've known Jim, you know, it's one of those things that your behavior becomes very much the same, your sense of humor, your philosophy about life. And so I'm going to do a little word association with you, Jim. So I need you to come up here. Here, Jim. Don't be scared.
Suzi, step it away.
So with the help of my best man. So what I want to do is I'm going to say a word to you, Jim, and I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind. No, don't look. Yeah. I promise you guys this is not rehearsed. All right. So number 1 is fish.
Grouper.
Oh, shit. I said cheese.
Gouda.
Gouda. Okay, good. We're 1 for 1. I screwed up the order. Damn. I practiced this all afternoon. All right, fish.
Grouper.
Grouper is correct. City in Wisconsin.
Sheboygan.
Sheboygan is correct. I promise you guys, this is not rehearsed.
These are all the funniest. Cheese, fish, city. It's not just random. These are the funniest names out there. Okay, should I get the order right?
Hey, Ladmo.
Remembered.
I was a little worried about that one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Remembered. You guys ever? Who grew up here? Who remembers the Wallace and Ladmo show? Come on. Ladmo died, and they did a whole tribute.
The pause is part of it. The pause is important.
All right, now we're gonna get a little weird. Abraham Lincoln.
Foreskin.
We'll tell you later. Oh, it's gonna get weird. Yeah. All right. I need the best punchline to any joke ever.
I didn't want to get blood on my clown suit.
Because I didn't want to get blood on the clown suit. That is correct. Ask Jim Lee. Thank you, Jim. All right, this is where I'll get a little seminar. So, honestly, Jim, you are my best friend in the world. I love you to death. And Suzi, you are awesome, and you guys together is fantastic. I love you because you love Jim, and I love you because you love beer. I love you because you love titties, and you love beer and titties, but it's okay. She has a hat that says that, so it's fine. Do you not wear it? No, okay, we won't even say it. But honestly, you guys are fantastic together. We love you, and honestly, being a part of your evening is just incredible. So we're, on behalf of, again, my wife, my brother, myself, and all of everyone here, we want to wish you congratulations and cheers. And then I found $20.
Yeah.